right. Today, if you are a business owner, or more precisely, if you are a business operator looking to become a business owner, is this is an important presentation, is because what you'll find, this is one of the critical steps to shifting from constantly working in your business to working on your business, being that business owner. And it's what I find most of my really successful business owners do. And additionally, I would say it's something when you look at some of these business icons that do amazing things, they follow this process as well. And so, what's the secret process? This process is scheduling think time for your business. And it's basically taking the time where you schedule two, preferably three times a week, about an hour during each time, where you step back from your business and you ask high value questions to either help grow your business, to solve challenges in your business, or to anticipate challenges coming up in your business. What I find though, I would say a majority of business owners don't do this. They're so busy working in their business, they feel they can't take the time to have think time. And so they're constantly on that treadmill of business life, working, 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 and they never become business owners. So again, this is such a critical step. And I'm going to go through some I'm going to go through some basics about this. And there's a couple ways to do this. I'm going to go through a process that Keith Cunningham uses. And many of you might be familiar with Keith Cunningham. For those that are not, I'll briefly say this guy is a superstar. He's raised billions of dollars for other businesses. He's owned many, many businesses. Back in 2000, there was a popular book, you know, basically Think and Grow Rich, that a lot of you might be familiar with. And he was one of the rich dads that Robert Kiyosaki talked about. And more importantly, is the whole content that was in Rich Dad Poor Dad was actually Keith Cunningham's work that Kiyosaki got him to share with him. So anyway, guy's brilliant. So I'm going to go through just some outlines of his process. What you can do is Keith wrote a book about 2 years ago called The Road Less Stupid. I highly recommend it. It gives incredibly valuable business advice. And in the book, in the two chapters, or chapters 2 and 3, he goes through in detail and talks about his think time process. So I'm just going to go through some highlights, but even these highlights could get you started. So there's just a couple of basic things that you need to start first with in his process. And as I've already mentioned, that you want to schedule two, ideally three times a week, where you schedule about an hour of time. And you want to schedule that time when you know when you're the most mentally alert. For most of us, that's going to be in the morning, but that's not in the morning. If you're a late owl, you might schedule it later, but you want to be mentally sharp. You want a comfortable chair. You want to be free of all distractions. If you have children, if you're working from home, you want to find a place like a bunker that you can be away from those distractions. You want your phone off, your computer off. You want to be fully focused and concentrated. And typically, what you're going to do is the first 45 minutes is you're going to be asking questions, and then the last 15 minutes you're going to evaluate the gold from your question series and the questions you ask, pull out the gold, and then implement on those ideals that are your best ideals during that hour time. So the other key to this process is you want to identify your questions in advance before you sit down for think time. And so you typically you want to at least write out 3 to 5 questions that you're going to be asking yourself during the think time. And so let me go through and what I will say typically those 3 to 5 questions, there'll be a common thread. Like it might be dealing with your marketing issues, and all the questions are designed to bring your marketing issues. So, so, so let me give you an example how this works. This is not like the goal of this process is not to complete all the questions. The goal is to create new insights, new possibilities, new ideas that you never had before. And so it's a very fluid process and flexible process. So let's say I'm working on my marketing. Maybe my first question that I written down that I wrote down earlier in the day for my think time process is, who's my target market? Well, in my think time, I might tweak it as I'm in the process, and I might say, well, who was my market? Who was my target market? And then I might tweak it again, and I might ask, well, who's my competitor's target market? Or I might tweak it again. I might say, if I wanted to double my sales, what market would I target? And then I might tweak it again. If I was starting my business again today, what market would I target? So each of these questions is designed to spark, different ideas, insights, and answers. Again, it's a very, fluid process. And sometimes what can happen in that process, and you might go down on one question and you might go really deep. You keep digging and you keep getting new insights, and you might stay with that. And you might only, end up answering that one question, or you might run dry on that one question and move to the next one and get 3 done. So again, the outcome is to get new insights and new questions that gives you new answers. So the other thing I'll say, using Keith's process, there's typically 3 possible scenarios that happen when he goes through this process. He's either going to be creating a new question, which is always good. New questions give you new answers. He's going to revisit a prior question from other times that allows him to put some additional thought to that question. And sometimes you'll need to do that. Or you'll use an answer from a prior think time as a basis for refining and fleshing out or changing the original question and searching for other possibilities or variations in the theme. So again, it's a very flexible, iterative process. And what you'll find with most of your questions, one thinking time for the questions that you identify for your think time is not going to be sufficient. You'll typically need to ask yourself the same question over multiple think times, put a little deeper thought to it, and before you come up with a more elegant answer that's worthy on executing on. So fundamentally, thinking time is a structured process that allows you to minimize your risk, identify the opportunities, and maximize your results. So Keith says, and I believe it, it's a pretty high return on a very low investment. And unfortunately, most people don't do it. But you find people that operate at a high level, they definitely take the time and do this. And last thing I'd say, I think the reason also people don't do it is people are cognitive misers. They don't like, to them, thinking is painful. And, that's why great business owners do what they do, because they're willing to put the time and commitment in. Last is what I'm going to say is, I think what's cool about this process is, I've mentioned on some of my other talks, is that I left Tony Robbins as one of their top coaches at the end of last year and to work on a business. So I'm using this process on that existing business. And I'm also marketing to pick up a few personal business clients on my own. And right now I'm going through a series of questions, doing think time on how to get in front of my ideal avatar and engage them. And I find it exciting to be able to do this and come up with new and exciting ways, as opposed to doing what everyone else is doing. Anyway, hope this is helpful, and I look forward to our next talk. Thank you.